Kia ora and welcome to this little Warriors video. The Warriors, New South Wales Cup Warriors. I think they're in the grand final for the New South Wales Cup. They will play the Dragons next Sunday, 6 p.m. after defeating the Parramatta Eels 42-14. Pretty strong Warriors team. Brought in a couple of reinforcements. We got Sam Healy, Tanner Smith, Ediota Miatoiava, Tain Tuaupiki, Ali Leotawa, NRL superstars Tom Ale and Bantia Foa as well. Tanner Boyd in the halves. Tanner Boyd, who I don't think has lost a game in New South Wales Cup this year. Yep, 15 games. 15 wins for Tanner Boyd in New South Wales Cup. So there's all those NRL angles, but I am more interested in some of the junior deep cuts, and the most interesting of those to me is Luke Hanson, who was in the halves for this game, and there was a bit of a sorting process displayed. Tanner Boyd drops down to New South Wales Cup. Luke Hanson stays in the halves. Jet Cleary goes to the bench. Jet Cleary got 6 minutes off the bench, but Luke Hanson played the whole game. Luke Hanson had 2 try assists and a line break for himself because he scored a try. And Luke Hanson this season, as per his New South Wales Cup profile that hasn't been updated with the game against the Eels. So before that game against the Eels, he had 6 tries and 16 try assists. So we'll add 1 try, so he's got 7 tries, and 2 try assists. He's got 18 try assists this season in 15 games. And keeping the spotlight on Luke Hanson, this is his 2nd season of New South Wales Cup with the Warriors. 18 games last season, 15 games this season. 5 tries last season, I think 7 tries this season. 11 try assists last season, 18 try assists this season. Last year, 66 meters per game. This year, 85 meters per game. Without that Eels performance, how many run meters did old Luke Hanson have? 50. So he's not bumping that average up, but that's all good because he's added 20 meters per game. He's also gone from 90.4% tackling to 97.4% tackling prior to the game against the Eels. We don't know which of these Warriors juniors are going to stay with the Warriors. We don't know their status. Everyone thinks they know contract status in the rugby league realms, but I lean into not knowing anything because it's pretty murky. So we'll wait and see what happens with Luke Hanson, but he has played 2 years of really good New South Wales Cup rugby league while still being Jersey Flegg eligible. And if you look at him and Jet Cleary, it gives you a nice insight into what happens when you come to the Warriors. Because anyone who comes to the Warriors, they have to be comfortable playing at the lower level to earn stepping up to the higher levels. Luke Hanson and Jet Cleary, they both started this year in under-21s. Luke Hanson went from being a really handy New South Wales Cup half last year, and then he started this year in under-21s and earned his way into that New South Wales Cup team. And now he's got 2 seasons of New South Wales Cup. There's obviously a fair amount of halves depth at the Warriors. So I'm curious to see what happens to Luke Hanson, Tanner Boyd and Jet Cleary, because to me they're all New South Wales Cup quality. Obviously they can be higher quality as well, but there's a lot of players competing for New South Wales Cup selection to start next season. All the young forwards played: Stowers, Smith, Fatialofa, Ediota Miatoiava, Jason Silalilo, 33 minutes off the bench. And I'm also curious about Makaia Tafua, because Sam Healy played 80 minutes. Makaia Tafua played 34 minutes coming off the bench as a late inclusion on that bench. And if I'm thinking about Makaia Tafua, then I got to check in with the Warriors award winners. I don't care about award winners. But there was this funky wrinkle of Jacob Auloa, also known as JD, J Dilla, Lower. He has now won, what do we got here? Last year, Lower picked up the main SG Ball Accolade Award. So he was the best player for the SG Ball team last year. This year, he's the best player for the Jersey Flegg Cup team. So we have a situation where one under-21 hooker in Makaia Tafua is so good he doesn't have a New South Wales Cup profile. Let me double check that so I'm not talking shit. Yeah, still doesn't have a New South Wales Cup profile. He also started this year in under-21 Jersey Flegg, but he played a bunch of New South Wales Cup last year and this year. Let's see how many games. Makaia Tafua, Jersey Flegg Cup, 7 games of Jersey Flegg, and he would have played way more than that for New South Wales Cup as a hooker / small forward in the same position, in the same role. Hooker / small forward. Very important role for the Warriors moving forward, in the same groove as Aaron Clark, Keilani going. We got 2 of them at the younger level moving up. Makaia Tafua is awesome. He's been signed on some sort of long-term deal as part of that Christchurch trio. Jason Salalilo, Bishop Neil as well. Makaia Tafua was part of that signing wave and announcements. But again, announcements don't really mean much to us. But then there's also Jacob Lower, J Dilla Lower. He has now won the Under-19 award, then the Under-21 award in consecutive seasons. And he played 15 games of Under-21s this year, but he's also played 5 games of New South Wales Cup in 2 years, last year and this year. And he was playing, he's got a couple games here of 50 minutes coming off the bench in New South Wales Cup, and just based on minutes alone, you can see how Healy, Tafua, and Lower, they're not all just playing hooker. They're playing a bit of small forward, they're playing a bit of middle forward, and that is going to increase their opportunities at the NRL level. But it's also a specific position, a specific role that Andrew Webster wants to have in his team. Tafua and Lower, very physical. They're crafty dummy halves. They do all the dummy half stuff well, but they're trying to smash blokes as small forwards. So we had an interesting combination of Healy playing the full game with Makaia Tafua coming off the bench for 30 minutes. And now we've got Jacob Lower being highlighted as a back-to-back MVP in the Warriors junior grades. Part of that awards announcement, we had news and awards that Putoko he won. Kalis Paul Putoko from Tokoroa. Tafua's from Christchurch, Jacob Lower's from Auckland. Jacob Lower, St. Paul's College, Point Chevalier Junior. And shout out to the Tafua Ainga from Samoa. Ainga, who knows? I'm half Pakia, half Palangi. Makaia Tafua, Jadika Tafua, his sister, was playing in the Sharks team NRLW finals, and Evander Tafua, I believe, is signed to the Bulldogs. All 3 of them are from Christchurch. All 3 of them, they've got different grassroots clubs. Just a curious, funky wrinkle. Makaia Tafua is a Linwood junior. Jadika Tafua is a Papanui junior, and Evander Tafua is a Sydenham junior. Just weird stuff happening there. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. But Kalis Paul Putoko, he was the Jersey Flegg Cup Emerging Player of the Year. And that is funky because he was playing fullback. He was playing centre. I think he might even had a game at number 6 in the halves as well. Kalis Paul Putoko, former New Zealand Schoolboys Rugby Union representative. He played in the same Schoolboys team as Tavita Nofahu. So Tavita Nofahu came through St. Ken's first 15, made the New Zealand Schools team, then he went over to Redcliffe Dolphins. Putoko made that same team, then he had a stint, I think in 2024, with the Gold Coast Titans, came back to Aotearoa with the Warriors, spent most of this year in Jersey Flegg, but he also looked really impressive in New South Wales Cup, and he played 1 game scored a couple tries at centre, and I wouldn't be surprised if Putoko steps up to a lot more New South Wales Cup footy next season. You got a lot of players moving on from that outside back department in the Warriors New South Wales Cup team, and I think guys like Kelispo Putoko, Sio Kelly, Brandon Norris, Motu Pasikala, they're all going to rise up and play a lot more New South Wales Cup next season. And there was also Paisukuvea. He won the Jersey Flegg Man of the Year. Shout out to all the men and the women of the years. Paisukuvea de La Salle College, coming out of Mangere East. He started this year in SG Ball, but he played 16 games of under-21 Jersey Flegg Cup, and he won Clubman of the Year for the under-21s team. So he started in under-19s, played way more footy in under-21s, and he's another one. He doesn't have the hooker small forward versatility. He's just got the small forward versatility. This dude is very mobile. He's fast, he's nimble, powerful, physical. Seen him play on the edge a few times this season, but his best position is in the middle of the field. Very dynamic, and that's he's fast for his position, like Aaron Clark and Keilani going. So watch out for Paisukuvea, one of the best young players stepping up to that under-21 Jersey Flegg Cup team, and really liked what I saw from him this season. He could be another player who plays more New South Wales Cup next season while still being under-21 eligible, in the same way that Jason Salalilo did this season. And that's going to be especially the case if Toby Crosby makes his move to the Panthers, as has been reported. One last little Warriors deep cut to highlight is we've got the New Zealand Rugby League National Premiership. Most of these players, just hearty grassroots rugby league soldiers, men and women, competing throughout Aotearoa in the New Zealand National Premiership. It's really cool stuff, because I think this kind of level of rugby league in Aotearoa has a lot of growth in it, but there's always a couple of Warriors players involved. And just looking at this Akarana Falcons rugby league team, who had a big win over Bop, the Bay of Plenty, guys who I believe are aligned with the Warriors, at least at the end of this season. Taipari Wikitera, he played 2 games of under-21s for the Warriors last year, and he played 2 games of under-19s for the Warriors this year. He was starting centre for the Akarana Falcons, so I'm curious if he's going to stay in the Warriors system. He didn't play under-21s this year, so he might have been battling injury. Who knows? But he's affiliated with the Warriors right now. Caleb Lehman, he had a stint with the Bulldogs, came back to Auckland. He's been involved with the Warriors, played under-21s last year, I think, and then he was kind of the 4th playmaker behind you had Tana Boyd, Tamara Martin, Jet Cleary, Luke Hanson. Then you had Caleb Lehman getting an opportunity. So when Tamara Martin and Tana Boyd were playing NRL and Luke Hanson was injured, it was Caleb Lehman and Jet Cleary in the halves for the New South Wales Cup team, and Caleb Lehman did his job. So he's part of the system. Who knows what he'll do moving forward. Then there is Mikaele Ilau. He is playing in the forward pack for the Akarana Falcons, and he played a game at SG Ball last year, but he's got 2 years of Jersey Flegg Cup for the Warriors, including the full 7 games this year for the Warriors in Jersey Flegg Cup. I think he's pretty large, like the Fijian Ravasai and Tepatasi Laumali'i, I think. So there's a couple big boppers in that Warriors system coming up the grades, and it's really impressive when you see young forwards like Mikaele Ilau and Waka Tate playing against grown men, whether it's in Auckland competitions or in the National Premiership. And Waka Tate is a funky player in this regard, because I've got a Google search here, and Waka Tate played SG Ball for the Warriors this year. in the middle of the forward pack, coming out of St. Paul's College. So Waka Tate, he started this year in SG Ball, and then he would have been playing men's footy in Auckland. Now he's playing edge forward for the Akarana Falcons in the New Zealand National Premiership. So we got two forwards right there who played for the Warriors this year, Ilau and Waka Tate. They are playing men's footy for Akarana Falcons. You got Taipari Wikitera in the centres, and Caleb Lehman. Caleb Lehman, I think, is the only dude of this quartet who is over under 21s. I think he's 22 years old. The rest of those dudes, they're 21 years or younger, and Waka Tate and Taipari Wikitera are both under 19 eligible at the start of this year as well, or they were under 19 eligible start of this year. So that's good to see them, and that's why you should be tapping into that New Zealand National Premiership. As long as you know, well, if you love rugby league, you should be watching anyway, but as long as you know who you're looking out for with the Warriors players, because one of the young halves in the women's system, Danny Gray, she was a development player for the Warriors NRLW team this year. She's playing in the halves for one of the Auckland teams. I can't remember if it was Akarana, Auckland, or Counties, but she's playing in the halves there. So that's a women's player getting experience against the best players in Aotearoa right now as well. So tap in, do your thing, and have a good day. We're doing our best. Kawabunga. Cheer.